In the previous video, we talked about the 80-20 rule, the idea that a small number of inputs often create most of the results. A small number of habits create most of your health. A small number of customers create most of the business's revenue. A small number of decisions shape most of your life. So the question becomes, how do you find the few moves that matter the most? Today, I want to expand that idea into geographic arbitrage. When most people hear that phrase, they think it means move somewhere cheaper, earn dollars, spend pesos, work remotely, live by the beach, take a big city salary and spend it in a small town. And yes, that is one version of it. But the deeper idea is bigger. Geographic arbitrage is recognizing that the same person, the same skill, the same dollar, or even the same behavior can become more valuable depending on where it is placed. Your goal is not only to become better, your goal is to place yourself somewhere where what you already have becomes more valuable. At the core of this is supply and demand. Usually, we think about supply and demand through money. Too many apples, apples get cheaper. Too few apartments, rent goes up. Everyone wants the same stock, the price goes up. But price is not always measured in dollars. Sometimes price is measured in attention, sometimes in status, sometimes in opportunity, sometimes in how badly people need what you can provide. Let's make this concrete. Imagine a co-ed softball league. The league has one rule. Every team must have at least 3 women on the field at all times. If there are 10 men and 10 women who want to play, there's no issue. But what happens if there are 20 men and only 3 women? Suddenly, those 3 women become incredibly valuable to the team, not because they are magically better at softball, but not because the men are worthless, but because the rule creates a constraint. The team cannot function without those 3 women, and so the men are in high supply and the women are in low supply. And because the team needs at least 3 women to play, the demand for the women is high. That's the whole idea. Value is not just about absolute ability. Value is about ability relative to the environment. A decent player in a scarce category can become way more important than a stronger player in an overcrowded category. That is geographic arbitrage. You are looking for places where what you offer is undersupplied. So the strategy becomes simple. First, where am I in high supply and low demand? And second, where would I be in low supply and high demand? If you are surrounded by hundreds of people who can do what you do at the same level or better, you are in a saturated environment. That does not mean you are bad. It means your environment is crowded. The move to make is to exit places where you are abundant and enter places where you are scarce. And this does not only apply globally, it applies locally as well. Imagine you are in a conversation. Everyone is talking. Everyone has a story, everyone has a point, everyone is waiting for their turn to speak. In that room, talking is in high supply. Listening is scarce. So if you become the first person to listen well, ask good questions, and actually pay attention, you become valuable. Now let's flip it. Imagine you are in a room where everyone is quiet. Nobody wants to start. Nobody wants to risk saying the wrong thing. Nobody wants to take the lead. In that room, silence is in high supply. A clear voice is scarce. So in that room, if you can speak well, frame the issue, and create momentum, you become valuable. Again, same person, different environment, different value. This is why being first matters. The first person to notice an unmet need often gets to define the space. They set the tone, they build the relationships, they learn the terrain before everyone else arrives. And once they are established, they can create a moat. So think practically. Look around you. What is in your environment? What is in your city? Are there any good accountants, math tutors, web designers, niche YouTube content creators? Find a need. Meet that need. And if possible, meet that need first. This is where geography becomes powerful. In a big city, your skills might be ordinary. In a smaller market, those same skills might be exceptional. You could be the 100th best designer in New York City or the world. Or you could be the best designer in your town and become the person that every business owner calls. You could be yet another fitness coach in Los Angeles. Or you could become your town's local authority on strength and conditioning. You could compete with world-class engineers in Silicon Valley. Or you could look like a wizard, growing local businesses with your code. In all of those scenarios I just described, the person didn't change. Their environment did. That is the arbitrage. Now, I will acknowledge that there is a catch. Like attracts like, competition breeds competition, and skills can atrophy. If you only stay in low competition environments, your skills can and likely will decay. The brain forgets what it does not need to remember. So if nobody is pushing you, challenging you, correcting you, or beating you, it becomes easy to mistake comfort for mastery. And that is the irony. High competition places are painful, but they are painful because they remind you just how average you are. Those dense, competitive environments, they sharpen you, they expose your weaknesses, they show you what excellence looks like, and they can compress years of learning into a shorter period of time. So the strategy is not to avoid competition forever, but the strategy is to use competition as a training ground, not as a forever home. Go where the standards are high. Learn quickly, absorb the tools, habits, language, and expectations of those high competition environments. But then, once you have built real skill, go somewhere else. Take that skill somewhere where it is scarce. And that is the loop. Enter high competition to sharpen yourself. Exit high competition to become rare. This world that we are in, it's not just solely in physical spaces anymore. The internet has created new geography. Justin Bieber, for example, he didn't break out by winning every single traditional gatekeeper in the music industry. He broke out on YouTube. YouTube was a different place. There were different rules. And the talent that previously might have been invisible in another geography became very visible in that landscape. And the same thing happens every single day, all the time, with writers, teachers, entrepreneurs, artists, consultants, and creators. You can be ignored in one room and overvalued in another. You can be average in one city and rare in another. You can be invisible on one platform and perfectly positioned to take advantage on another. So when we talk about geographic arbitrage, don't just ask, hey, where is rent cheaper? Ask yourself, where is my skill scarce? Where is my taste rare? Where is my work ethic unusual? Where is my knowledge needed? And where is their demand that has not yet been met? The 80-20 rule says that a small number of moves create most of the results. Geographic arbitrage says one of those moves might be changing your environment. Same person, same skills, same effort, in a different place could have a very different outcome. So wherever you are and whatever you do, ask yourself, am I standing somewhere where what I offer is abundant? Or am I standing somewhere where what I offer is rare? Let me know in the comments below. That is Geographic Arbitrage, and this has been Grand Arbitrage. I will see you in the next one.